this card is absolutely stupendous. For it to go on through the multitude of changes that it has, especially the big ones in the past about week and a half, for the card to turn out this good, possibly even better than it was before, is asinine. Just gotta give credit to Dana White, the matchmakers, and obviously all the fighters for even stepping up and accepting these bouts. When I say that, I am obviously specifically talking about the two all-time greats that have stepped in, Alexander Volkanovski and Kamaru Usman. Much love and respect for them. But the card as a whole really has everything that you could possibly want. Obviously, it's got the big names, but it's also got a slew of prospects. We finally get the highly anticipated debut of Sharaputdin Magomedov. I think he claps Bruno Silva, not gonna lie. Makhachev is somehow still walking, and he returns against Tim Elliott. I think that's a solid fight, actually a really good challenge for Makhachev, but I think he'll pull out the decision. Saeed Nurmagomedov looks to bounce back from his loss, which I don't even think he lost that fight for real, but it's cool. And he fighting the Mole. I like the Mole. The Mole's tough. He's solid all around, things like that. I think he'll make it competitive, but Saeed tough, bro, so I'm siding with him. Ikram Aliskerov debuts against Warlley Alves. Boy, I'm sick. I really wanted to see him fight Nasruddin Imavov. That fight was excellent, but I think he's going to clap Warlley, not going to lie. But I want to go ahead and get to the meat and potatoes, the reason why people here. Alexander Volkanovski and Islam Makhachev, too. Now, I love Volk. I think he's one of, if not the best fighter to ever walk the planet, skill-wise, and he has made it almost impossible to even doubt him whatsoever, even a little. He demands a great amount of respect, but I ain't gonna lie. 10 days notice, in Abu Dhabi, probably ain't gonna be fully in fight shape. It's just a lot of factors in here that make me think Volk is absolutely insane. I mean, he is, to fight Islam on short notice, but I really just hate the circumstances of this fight. This was supposed to be something that was properly built up. Both fighters get a full count, and we get to run it. Because honestly, this is a really big fight, and it's very competitive. This is indeed a matchup that Volk showed that he could potentially win in. But under all of these different circumstances, I'm really just not seeing it. I do believe that Islam just has a really good style against Volk. Not only that, but I do believe he's about to improve greatly from their first fight. A lot like Volk showed he did when he fought Yair. And to be honest, the fact that Islam was able to outstrike, or at bare minimum, heavily compete with Volk on the feet is extremely discouraging for Volk. Now, he did do better in all of the wrestling and grappling situations that we thought he'd be able to. But honestly, in a rematch situation, I feel like Islam outstriking Volk outweighs Volk being able to compete in the grappling situations, if that makes sense. Then when I factor in that Islam probably going to be bigger in this fight than the first one, due to a longer rehydration period before the fight, we could potentially see a bigger and much better version of Islam than Volk saw the first time. And he's on short notice. I would love to see him pull it off. This would be a crazy story. It would absolutely skyrocket his all-time status in the game. But I don't know, this one might be a lot. And if he does end up losing, this is it. This is the last time these two gonna fight. Probably won't see Volk at lightweight again. I hate it, but it is what it is. We here. And I'm still excited for the fight, don't get me wrong. But I got Islam by third round submission. Moving on to Kamaru Usman and Khamzat Chimaev. I'm still in awe and disbelief that this fight is actually happening. I was hoping that rumor months ago was capped, but here we are. Not only is it real, Kamaru stepped on short notice. This man, a lot like Alexander Volkanovski, is also insane. All that aside though, I'ma be honest. As I've said in the past, I'm really not seeing a good path to victory for Usman. At this point in his career, he is extremely old and feeble. His knees officially suck to the point where they are clearly affecting him in combat. In that third fight against Leon, he looked a lot slower. He completely lacked explosiveness. He ain't look good. And to be going up in weight to fight Khamzat Chimaev at that, who bigger than Usman, bare minimum around the same size, faster, probably has the power advantage. It's insane. Now, I do believe that Usman's only possible hope in this fight is if it's a striking match. Khamzat's defenses have always shown to be lacking, specifically when he's moving forward, throwing his own punches. And Usman could possibly catch him with something. He definitely do have the power to hurt him and or put him down. My thing is that if this is a striking match, I think it'll be more Khamzat moving forward, putting Usman on the back foot, opposed to that tit-for-tat kind of striking match that Usman had with Kobe in their two fights. And I don't really have the most confidence in Usman on the back foot, especially at this point in his career. So, yeah, that is where his only shot to me is in this fight. But, And then to speak on the wrestling, I understand that Usman is extremely credentialed. Indeed, indubitably. I also understand he has the highest takedown defense in UFC history. Absolutely. But he ain't never fought nobody like Khamzat. Khamzat's obviously got all the physical things on his side, but technically he ain't like any of the other wrestlers that Usman's fought. Now he does have good shots, single legs, double legs, super fast and explosive. But at the end of the day, the Dagestani way of just creating the contact and creating scrambles, that's where Khamzat shines. And I, under no circumstances, think Usman is going to be able to keep up with all of that. His knees are shot. He can't move. He's a lot slower than before. I don't think he's going to be able to keep up with that constant rolling around. I do believe the chain wrestling will be too much. And if the fight hits the ground, it's over. Kamal Usman has no jiu-jitsu. And obviously Khamzat is one of, if not the best grapplers in the entire division. So, if this a wrestling or grappling match, the fight is over right now. So yeah, I'm not seeing it. I also love to see Usman get this one done. I'd be happier if Usman won the Volk because I have no faith in Usman in this one. I can't even lie to you. But man, it would be great to see. Khamzat by second round submission. And then the last one I want to go in depth on, Magomed Ankalaev versus Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker makes a massive leap in competition, going from Bubu Ian Kutelaba to Anthony Smith, who sucks. And now he's fighting Ankalaev, which is pretty nuts. But this is his chance to cash in on the potential that we've seen for years now. Obviously, he had a horrendous stretch of getting just comically knocked out, but he's actually made a lot of improvements in his game and is looking to assert himself at the top. Now, physically, Johnny Walker got everything on his side. Obviously, he's tall, he's got an insane reach, good speed, crazy power, but technically, Ankalaev is better to me in every aspect of the game. One of the things I just don't necessarily care too much for in Ankalaev's style is the fact that he doesn't mix it up at all. He wants to strike, even though he is an amazing wrestler and grappler. He don't turn to it unless he's badly losing in the stand-up, i.e. that Blachowicz fight where his legs were shot and he couldn't walk. All that aside though, if this is a technical fight, I don't see Johnny Walker winning it. Ankalaev's too good in those regards. I do think Johnny Walker's going to have to throw it back to his older style and just do stuff. Be as wild as possible and try and catch Ankalaev with something. For as technical as Ankalaev is, he ain't fought no wild man like Johnny Walker. And you can't prepare for the wild stuff that humongous man will throw at you. At the same time though, all that wild buffoonery is the exact thing that could make Ankalaev look extremely good and get Johnny Walker caught and put down in an instant. So yeah, I ain't gonna lie. It's a weird situation for Johnny Walker, but in my opinion, he just gotta kind of throw a lot of caution to the wind and just do stuff. I could see it working. I could see him catching Magomed with something and putting him down. He hits extremely hard. But as far as how I think the fight actually gonna go, I think Magomed gonna sit and fight at his pace early, pick Walker apart, probably make Walker get a little impatient, do something stupid, and counter him accordingly. But yeah, I do got Magomed in this one. This is an elite card. I hate that it starts so early because I gotta be up and tapped in at like 12. But with all the names and debuts on this card, I promise to Jesus Christ I will be tapped in. So